Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most foundational stories ever told, the book of Genesis. This is a truly sweeping narrative of creation, human failure, and this incredible, enduring promise that has shaped, well, entire civilizations. So let's get right into it. So the story just opens with this breathtaking act of sheer will. You have this dark, formless void, and then the universe is just spoken into existence. This one iconic line, it really sets this grand, majestic tone for everything, and I mean everything that comes next. All right, so in this first part of the story, we're starting right at the beginning. We're going to see how a perfect world gets created, how the very first humans are placed in paradise, and then we'll see the one fateful choice that completely changes the game. What's really fascinating here is the incredible order of it all. It's not chaotic. It's this really poetic, structured account. So you have day 1, light. Day 2, the sky. Day 3, land. You can see how each day just builds on the one before it, all leading up to the grand finale on day 6 with the creation of humanity itself. So imagine Adam and Eve in this state of just perfect harmony in the Garden of Eden. They have everything they could possibly need. They even walk with God. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There's this one single rule, this one test, that introduces the first hint of conflict into their perfect world. And that choice to disobey, well, it brings immediate and really stark consequences. The change is just devastating. You see this shift from perfect harmony to hiding in shame, from innocence to this painful new awareness, from paradise to exile. You could say this is the moment the human story, our story, really, truly begins. Okay, so with humanity now outside the garden, the story, well, it takes a much darker turn. This next part is all about a world that's spiraling into corruption and violence, and it all leads to a divine response on a scale that's just unimaginable. It happens so fast. The very first children born, Cain and Abel, they bring us the world's first murder. And when God confronts Cain, his defiant question just echoes through the ages. It really shows you how incredibly quickly that harmony of Eden was shattered and replaced by jealousy and violence. And things get so bad, the corruption becomes so widespread that the story actually describes God as grieving the decision to have even created humanity in the first place. So the Great Flood, it's presented as this painful, drastic reset, kind of like hitting a divine reset button on a corrupted world, just trying to wash it all clean and start over with one good man, Noah. Just let that number sink in for a minute. 150 days. We're not talking about a brief storm here. This was a world-altering cataclysm that literally submerged everything. That single number really drives home the sheer, overwhelming scale of what was happening. But out of all that destruction, something completely new emerges, the first covenant. And this is a really crucial idea. A covenant is basically a binding promise, an unbreakable deal. And here, God makes one with all of humanity, and the symbol is the rainbow. It's a promise of preservation, a pledge that destruction on that massive scale will never, ever happen again. And yet, you'd think that would be the end of it, but no. Despite that incredible promise, the cycle of human pride just keeps on going. This time, it's the Tower of Babel. Humanity unites, all full of ambition, trying to make a name for themselves. And the response? Their languages get all mixed up, and they're scattered across the earth, which basically sets the stage for how all the different nations of the world came to be. Okay, get ready, because right here, the story takes a huge dramatic pivot. It's like the camera pulls back from this wide shot of all of humanity and then zooms way, way in, focusing intensely on just one man and the incredible promise given to his family. This is the real beginning of the story of Israel. So you can see right here how the narrative just narrows its focus, right? The story is moving from Noah, who's kind of this figure for all humanity, and then it goes down through the generations, Shem, Eber, Terah, until it finally lands on one specific guy, Abraham, who's just living his life in the city of Ur. And this is the promise that changes absolutely everything. God calls Abraham to pack up, leave his home, and travel to a land he's never even seen. And in return, he's offered this incredible three-part promise. He'll get land, he'll have countless descendants, and through him, a blessing will extend to the entire world. It's huge. But now, here's the catch, and it's a big one. What's so interesting is the massive obstacles standing in the way. Abraham and his wife Sarah, they're old, and they have no children. So this promise, it sounds completely impossible. To believe it is going to require this immense leap of faith, and that becomes really a central theme of their whole story. So this final section of Genesis, honestly, it's like a gripping family drama. It is messy, it's full of seriously flawed characters, intense sibling rivalries, and so much deception. But somehow, through all of this very human struggle, that promise given to Abraham keeps getting carried forward. And the conflict is just perfectly set up with Isaac's twin sons. I mean, look at how different they are. You've got Esau, the rugged outdoorsman, a hunter, his father's favorite. And then you have Jacob, the quiet one, a homebody, his mother's favorite. This favoritism, you can just feel it. It creates this total powder keg of resentment and rivalry. So here's the explosive result of all that tension. Jacob, with his mother's help, cooks up this really elaborate deception. He actually fools his blind father, Isaac, and steals the patriarchal blessing. We're talking about the inheritance of God's promise here that was totally meant for his older brother, Esau. So now, Jacob is a fugitive. He's on the run from his angry brother, and he begins this long journey of transformation. And while he's on the run, he has these two incredibly profound encounters. First, a dream of a stairway connecting heaven and earth, and then, years later, an all-night wrestling match with, well, a mysterious divine being. Okay, and this is so important. After that wrestling match, Jacob is left wounded, but he gets a new name, Israel. And that name means he who struggles with God. This is way more than just a personal name change. It's a defining moment. It establishes a core identity for the entire nation that will come from him. This idea that faith isn't just passive acceptance. It's an active, often difficult struggle, a wrestling match with the divine. So after this long, very complicated life, Jacob ends up having 12 sons. And these men, you see them listed here, they become the founding fathers of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So after all that struggle and deception, the promise of a great nation is finally starting to take shape. And that brings us to the very end of Genesis. And it leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. Is this sprawling epic the story of a perfect, divine plan just unfolding step by step? Or is it the messy, all-too-human history of flawed people and bitter family feuds through which something much bigger somehow emerges? Maybe the answer is that it's both.